Raise your hand if you have a couple of cans of tuna in your pantry and you don't know what to do with them. The first thing that we're gonna make is a spicy tuna roll bowl. Now, let me preface, don't skip ahead, because if you don't like spice, I'm gonna show you exactly how to leave that part out. You do not have to do spicy. So I've got 2 cans of tuna. This is what we need for my family. These are gonna get drained in just a couple of minutes. I'm gonna set those to the side because we need to go ahead and prep everything else. So this is one of those things where you put the ingredients into the bowl that you love. My family loves mango in their sushi bowls, so I got mango for them. Also, I'm really bad at cutting mango, so just hang with me for a minute. Mango cut, ready to go. For the avocado, I'm gonna do the same thing, cut it basically the same way. I also forgot to mention, I've got some rice in our rice maker right now, and I just recently changed our rice recipe. If you want to see the full recipe, make sure you head over to either Instagram or TikTok. I have it posted on both of those. But we now use, it's basically 1 part rice, 2 parts liquid, but the liquid is half chicken stock, half coconut milk, and it's so delicious. So head over there if you wanna see me make the full recipe. We're just gonna take some avocado and it's gonna go into this bowl so that everybody can choose what they want in these bowls. This was a perfect avocado. Pat myself on the back for that one. Okay, I've got 1 jalapeno here. I'm going to cut this for me and my husband. Really don't see the kids eating this at all, but we like it, so I'll have it available. All right, I'm gonna wash these. They just came out of the garden. So my husband's gonna make up the spicy mayo while I'm cutting and prepping everything. It is a very simple recipe. So if you don't like spicy, you can skip this part altogether. We will pull out the yum yum sauce so that the kids can have that instead of the spicy mayo. All right, so for the spicy mayo, about a 1/2 cup of mayo, 2 tablespoons of sriracha, and about a 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. I'm going to slice up this cucumber. We don't need a lot, just a little bit of it. All right, and the last thing is I'm going to shred up some carrots. For the tuna, I got cans that did not have any added salt. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this seafood seasoning by Auntie Nono's. We really love this seasoning, but it doesn't have sodium in it. So I'm also going to add a little bit of this everything seasoning. Just a touch. We really don't need very much at all because we've got all these other really great flavors. So let's just mix that about a little bit. So we've got all of these beautiful ingredients that we can each add to our bowls here. I've got my rice here in a bowl. We're going to just start adding ingredients. It's gonna be so pretty because you've got all of these colors. Look how delicious this looks, you guys. I am excited about this one. For this tuna recipe, I'm gonna show you another way that I like to change things up and put the stuff we love in it and leave out the things we don't. So this one is a little bit different. In the description box, I will have the traditional recipe linked, but I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna make it. So I went out to the garden and honestly, what we needed was all cherry tomatoes, but our tomatoes are just about done for the season. So we had 4 cherry tomatoes. I am gonna be improvising and adding some of our other tomatoes in. I'm also gonna be using a different pasta than they suggest for this because I'm using what I have available in my pantry. You guys know we typically do that. I already have water boiling over on the stove, so I'm gonna add in about a 1/2 pound of pasta. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut the little tomatoes in half and throw them into this bowl here. The larger tomato, I'm just gonna cut it into like little, like diced sized pieces. And I'm honestly not even that worried about de-seeding or anything like that. The recipe here actually calls for green beans. You just blanch them. You're just gonna cook them really quickly and then put them into an ice bath so that they stop cooking. I like green beans, but I love green peppers. So I planted a lot of green peppers in our garden this year because I like them so much. So we're gonna add green pepper instead. Now I'm not gonna cook it. I like the crunch. I like what it adds, so I'm not concerned about that. We have, like, I need to figure out more green pepper recipes in the next couple of days because if I don't use them, they're not gonna last. and that's gonna be so disappointing because I love them so much. I'm just dicing this into bite-sized pieces. I am trying to remove a lot of the seeds. I'm not too concerned about it, but removing them as I see them. I just had deja vu on this recipe. I know I haven't made this on my channel before, but definitely feeling like I had. Weird. Does that happen to you guys? Do you ever get that and you're like, have I done this before? This exact same thing before? I'm going to add a can of chickpeas. I am gonna drain and rinse these. And another thing we're gonna add, now if you don't like these, don't feel like you have to add it. I love capers. We're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of capers. And I'm not measuring because this is just one of those things. I really like capers, so you just add the amount that you wanna add. I also have a can of tuna. Now, most of these recipes call for tuna that is packed in oil, but I never use that. I always use it packed in water. Use whichever you want, but we are going to drain this off. All right, so I'm gonna set this to the side to make my dressing. You can absolutely just make your dressing in another little bowl. I have a shaker bottle that makes dressing, that you can put dressing in to shake it up, so I'm gonna use that. This little dressing is so easy. It is Dijon mustard, 2 teaspoons. Obviously measure if you want, like I say in every video. We've got red wine vinegar. And for the red wine vinegar, I'm gonna use about a tablespoon. So got some olive oil here, and we are going to use about 3 tablespoons. And just a touch of salt. And just shake all of this together. Now my pasta is done. I'm going to drain it off, and then I'm gonna run it under cold water really quick to stop the cooking of the pasta. All right, let's take that pasta and toss it in. Okay, let's dress this. So we're gonna add all of that dressing and toss it all together. So simple, so colorful. That tuna adds extra protein into this, but you've got great carbs in here too with the tomatoes and the chickpeas. And you can also add more tuna. Maybe you're making this for a lunch item and you want to add some more protein in it. That's a great option. Just add in another can of tuna and you're gonna get even more in there. All right, let's give this a taste and see if it needs anything. I'm gonna add a touch more red wine vinegar because I really do enjoy it. And then just a touch more salt. Give it one last toss and it's done. It's ready to go. It's very good though. I love Dijon mustard. So I love the taste of that in a dressing. I really, really enjoy that one. All right, let's give it one last taste since I added those ingredients. I've been filming all afternoon and I didn't have lunch. Okay, I was just packing away that recipe and I had the thought, you know what would be really good in this? A little bit of dill. Just sprinkle a little bit of dill. I'm gonna do this tomorrow when I have it for lunch. And a little bit of feta cheese. That is going to take it over the top. This recipe is something that we used to do when I worked at the deli. It was a very commonly ordered thing. So I went ahead and made up some tuna salad here, and you can make tuna salad absolutely however you want to make it. I actually made this one up last night. There are approximately 400 different ways to make tuna salad. Now mine, I kept it very simple. This is just tuna, some mayonnaise, and some Greek yogurt, and then some Auntie Nono's everything seasoning. You can just use salt and pepper if you don't have that, if you wanna keep it really simple like mine. But how we used to make it at the deli is we would take this same basic recipe. I don't think we used Greek yogurt, but we definitely used a little bit of mayo and mustard. We would take 1 carrot, a rib of celery, some onion, and some black olives. Put that in your food processor and puree it really, really well, and then mix that into here. So you kind of get, it's like adding a bunch of spices to your tuna. So this is very simple. Like I said, it is the most basic of tuna salad recipes that you can come up with. Okay, now to make this, I am just starting with a sourdough slice. You can use whatever kind of bread you like. And I'm gonna top that with some of our tuna salad. Y'all, this is just so incredibly easy, but it's taking your standard tuna salad that you might take to work for lunch, or maybe you're eating it at home for lunch or whatever, and it's just gonna elevate it. So we actually have these for dinner because they're a little heavier. You can, you feel like you're getting a little more out of it when you turn it into a melt. Now I'm also gonna take some tomato. We're gonna slice that. You can also slice some onion if you wanna do that and put some onion on it. All right, the last time I made these, I did shredded cheese. You should absolutely feel like you can use shredded cheese, but I don't wanna shred a whole block. Like I said, we're about to go out of town. So I'm just going to cut up this leftover Kerrygold cheese, and we're gonna top the melt with this sliced cheese instead. Same thing, if you shredded it, it would just be shredded. It's gonna melt all over the top, be so good. Now I'm gonna pop this into my toaster oven. Feel free to put this in your actual oven if you want to, that's totally fine. The toaster oven is just easy and convenient. I'm gonna set my toaster oven to the oven function at around 400. We're gonna let it bake for 8 to 10 minutes. For the last 2 minutes, we are going to broil it just so the cheese gets nice and brown in certain places on the top. Such an easy meal to put together. It looks great, it's nice and filling. This one is great, especially on a weeknight. Everything about this just tastes so fresh to me. You've got that crispy bread, the tuna, that really fresh tomato. It's so like fragrant, vibrant. What's the word I'm looking for here? This cheese is awesome. I also think it would be really great with Swiss cheese. If you like Swiss, that could be a great option for this one, but it's very good. Oh, you know, whoa, tomatoes. Okay, pull that out in case, we'll pull that out so that, are you doing that on purpose? If you want to see more recipes like this, I have a playlist called Recipes Using. I'll have it linked so that you guys can see it. I hope you're having a great week. Bye.